Hello, my name is Troy Coaston, and I will be introducing you to Coasting Enterprises. Let us get you there. First, we're going to look at what is Coasting Enterprises and their main focuses. They're currently looking to the development of high-speed magnetic hover train transportation solutions. There's currently an existing track from New York City to Los Angeles, California, and their true vision is developing the fastest, safest train transportation in North America. Their mission statement reads, Coasting Enterprises is setting the industry standard for family and business travel across the United States. Coasting is doing this by providing safe, efficient, and modern travel solutions driven by modern science and technology. Customer satisfaction will always come before profits. Looking at this, there's a couple things to unpack. It's clear that the organization would want to be known for being safe, efficient, and using modern solutions through science and technology. But even before that, I think it's important to note customer satisfaction will always come before profits. Diving into the vision and purpose of Coasting Enterprises, they're looking to develop a form of transportation that will enhance the ability for families to travel more for less. And with that, they'll be able to take financial and travel time stressors out of the equation. Digging into that a little bit further, operating costs. The reason they are trying to provide a more cost-effective way is that they will have less operating costs for other transportation versus other transportation. Next is the service charge. So that's essentially your ticket fees. With currently they are already about half of what other forms of transportation, such as bus or airplane and existing trains. And their goal, and we'll dive into this a little later, their goal is to even decrease ticket costs as more lines and more stations are established throughout the United States. And finally, with that kind of sums up all of that into one thing is they will continuously pass on the savings to the customer. Looking at the goals, so here we're going to look at the actual making the vision a reality. So that's kind of broken up into two goals. The first goal is to make the train available for all. And with that, the two objectives for there is to grow the train line across the United States, as well as be efficient with the capital. Both of those are important in the growing process. This organization does want to focus on family travel, but also know that this high-speed travel is essentially a new industry. So as the market changes, as the demand changes, if business becomes more prominent, then they'll be able to allocate more resources to meet the demand. And with that second objective, be efficient with capital. Being so dedicated to pass on savings to customers, it's extremely important that the organization itself is efficient as possible. Looking at goal number 2, be cutting edge. Two objectives underneath this goal is working with technology rather than against it, and expand research development areas to find ways to be more efficient with science and technology. There's many organizations that are large, extremely profitable, but with large companies, it makes it difficult for them to pivot at any given point or reach out for new and utilize new science and technologies just because how large the organization and what an undertaking that is. So Coasting Enterprises is dedicating their time and efforts to not be like those companies and use new science and technologies for them and being able to serve the customer better. Now that we've kind of laid out who and what the true vision is of Coasting Enterprises, here are some of the fun facts or general facts of the business. So that their trains average at speeds over 800 miles an hour. To put that kind of into perspective, that's over 25% faster than commercial air from the existing lines, which are from New York to LA. So a trip like that is going to take somewhere in the range of only 2 hours. And skipping there to the bottom, expansion lines and stations are in the works throughout. Um, it's identified that it is limited currently, but over time, we hope to see lines and stations everywhere for both business and families to be able to partake. As we roll out more lines and the company grows, there's some key performance indicators or KPIs that we will be tracking. Those are broken down into both short-term and long-term KPIs. Focusing in on the short-term, we'll be looking at month-to-month sales, and this would be specifically ticket sales, and then along with that, um, business versus pleasure travelers. We've talked about that a little bit already, between business versus family, and we should be able to pivot if we start seeing a larger growth in business versus families or vice versa. But we're at a point that we know we can change with the demand. Looking at some of the long-term KPIs, that's on-time percentage of new routes. Coasting Enterprises wants to be identified as a trusted company that when we say we're going to do something, we do it. When we give timelines and expectations to our customers, to the public, we want them to feel that if we say we're going to have a new route on this date, we will have a new route on that date. Looking at the second long-term KPI that will be tracked is the price of tickets versus new routes. Earlier I mentioned prices and tickets are already lower than competitor traffic options, transportation options. With new routes, and with low operating costs, we hope to even lower those ticket prices. So this KPI will help us evaluate, are we truly meeting that goal? Next will be going through this balanced scorecard of the four areas: the financial, the customer, learning and growth, and then obviously business process. Looking in the financial section, improving operating efficiencies, realizing returns on investments, and increase profits for the long term. Summarizing that area is um, the increased profits for the long term. We want to be sustainable, and we want to use our capital efficiencies and be efficient with our capital. And that is all going to be summarized essentially into serving the customer, but passing along savings to the customer. Going clockwise, moving into the customer category, we want to take money and time out of the traveling equation and grow brand customer trust. So with taking those items out of the equation, I'm sure we can all remember growing up and our parents saying, we don't want to go somewhere, it's too much time, too much effort, maybe financially didn't make sense. But we want to take that out of there, and we want this to be family friendly and geared towards families getting out, traveling more, and being together. Looking at the learning and growth portion of the scorecard, we want to strategically develop team members and increase administrative efficiencies. That kind of goes hand in hand with the financial section. And we have to be efficient with our capital since we want to be lean and essentially be vertically integrated to an extent. Finally, last spot here for the business process, we want to allocate more research for research and development, and we want to reduce time to market. So for us, that would be new routes and stations. But we discussed how much we want to rely on new technology and new science to build our brand, to build our organization, and have those resources be reliable for our customers. This has been a quick overhead view of Coasting Enterprises, where we'll always um, be happy to get you there. But I'll focus in on this last portion, which is a verse from Galatians 5:13, which reads, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, we should be serving one another humbly in love." We want to be sustainable for the long term, but we will never put profits over our customer service. Servitude is our number one factor within this company and our main objective. Thank you.